All's quiet in Cooperstown. In normal times, baseball reaches July with the season in full swing. The dog days looming, and fans gathering here for the new Hall of Fame class. This year hasn't been normal, but these corridors carry reminders of how baseball has endured. It's opening day for a different kind of season. More at stake on every pitch. A playoff feel from beginning to end.
Have all the fun you want. Did he get it? Yes, he did. That was awesome.
The World Series Curly W is in the books.
At last, the spirit of the game is in the air and in our hearts again.
Skyline, Los Angeles, California, as the 2020 season begins on a July 23rd day. Jackie Robinson on the outside and the superstars that the Los Angeles Dodgers have put together to try to win their first World Series title since 1988. Last year's MVP. MVP a few years ago, Mookie Betts, blowing kisses as LA and San Francisco renew their rivalry as we get set for opening night. Baseball on ESPN. Our telecast is presented by John Deere. Welcome everyone inside our studios, and yes, I am here in our Bristol studios. Eduardo and Tim Kirkshin both at home. Tim, nobody's waited more and expressed to us how excited you are to have the game back. Put it in context for us quickly.
Well, 266 days without baseball. That's the longest gap in baseball history. We're all so happy to be playing some games.
How about you, Eddie?
Well, I'll tell you this, Carl. Just to be excited to be here, finally talking Major League Baseball, getting Mookie Betts in a Dodger uniform. Are you kidding me? It's the right thing to do right now. Opening night in LA.
It's the bane of Red Sox fans' existence, but yes, they're very excited about it in Los Angeles. Home, say the Dodgers, and Mookie will make it home for the next dozen years. In the shadows of Jackie Robinson, and surrounded by Andrew Friedman, who came to the deal with him, and his new manager, Dave Roberts, who, of course, signed his own extension for 4 more years. That's the group. Combined with this guy, Cody Bellinger, and Walker Buehler, you have the new Killer Bees. But my goodness, you're talking about the MVP last year and 2 years ago in the American League, Eduardo. A scary, dynamic duo that the Dodgers have. And you think about the likes of Mickey and Roger as far as teams since '63 with MVPs from each of the previous 2 seasons in the outfield. How dominant can they be?
They can be really dominant, Carl. If you look at it age-wise, they're not even close to getting to 30 years of age yet. So they're going to be together for quite some time. And to put it in perspective, right, left, these are 2 guys that not only beat you with the bat, but they beat you with their legs also and with their instincts. And that's one thing that Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers love about what these 2 guys will be able to provide the Dodgers with.
And a complete rebuilding Giants team here. They, of course, their Hall of Fame manager, Bruce Bochy, retired. And then they've lost other players, of course. Madison Bumgarner signed with the Diamondbacks 5 years for $85 million. Their best player, Buster Posey, opted out. This is a lineup you're not going to recognize all those names. This is a great Giant franchise, and they're going to struggle, my guess is, for a few years.
Gabe Kapler is in his first year, but Gabe can spin it with the best of them, and he's certainly looking forward to taking these guys to where the 2010, 12, and 14 team went when they won World Series. The former All-Star starter, Johnny Cueto, on the mound. He's had real good success at Dodger Stadium, and he will not be opposed by Clayton Kershaw tonight, out with a stiff back. It's the Giants and the Dodgers as we're getting set to start the season on the West Coast, as ESPN's telecast of opening night baseball is presented by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer, run with us. A quick timeout, first pitch from Chavez Ravine right after this.
Baseball. Leading off the game for San Francisco, center fielder number 5, Mike Yastrzemski.
First pitch on the ground. Seager had it go off his glove.
Third baseman number 41, Wilmer Flores.
Welcome back, everyone. We apologize. Game got underway a little quicker than we thought. Coming back from the commercial, Mike Yastrzemski reached on an error that'll be charged to Corey Seager. A ground ball off his glove. So Yastrzemski aboard. Wilmer Flores bats second for the Giants. Dustin May's first pitch. Fastball in the corner, 98 miles an hour. You're looking at Dustin May, who starts for Clayton Kershaw right there. They call him Big Red for obvious reasons. A graduate of Northwest High School in Texas, selected by the Dodgers in the 3rd round in 2016. He was called up to the majors in August of last year in his debut against the Padres. 5 2/3, 4 runs, 3 earned, 9 hits, and 3 strikeouts. They love that about him, Eduardo. 98 miles an hour with some movement.
Yeah, 98 miles per hour. He gets there. It gets there in a hurry. You'll see fastball, slider. Again, a little run to that fastball. Hitters are going to try to get ahead early. That's why Mike swung at the first pitch. They know he can get nasty with 2 strikes.
Flores and Mookie Betts underneath it. Mookie Betts. And you'll hear Los Angeles and the Dodger Stadium crew will play some sounds, and you heard applause when Mookie made that catch, even though the folks that are in the stands are cardboard cutouts. So Wilmer Flores flies out to right, and that brings up Pablo Sandoval. As you take a look at that lineup, Tim, you made the point. There's some names in there that are going to be very unfamiliar to people.
Right, but the guy at the top of the lineup has a very familiar last name. Mike Yastrzemski hit 21 homers last year, tied with Kevin Pillar for the most on the Giants. Really nice future for this kid. He's come a long way.
Now, Giant lineup and the Dodger lineup. Our starting lineups are brought to you by State Farm. Sandoval, the first baseman, was a great Giant from 2008 to 14. He's got 3 rings. He left for Boston, 5 years, $95 million, and none of that worked out. Now back with the Giants and hitting 3rd tonight. On the ground, that went off of Yastrzemski. Dead ball, Yastrzemski out. And it didn't appear as if he was running without looking in, but he is clipped by the baseball. Yastrzemski out, Sandoval the first.
You know what, Carl? I would love to see this again, and one of the big reasons why is because this would have easily been a 4-6-3 double play. And I think Yastrzemski playing it smart, Sandoval not getting down the line quickly at all, carrying a little extra pounds than that. This would have easily right there. If he would have been hit, it would have been Turner, passing it over to Seager, then to Muncy. Instead, only 1 out runner at first.
But you're not suggesting he did that on purpose.
And a base hit for Pablo Sandoval. So what could have been, as Eddie said, a GIDP, he gets a knock.
Eddie, not on purpose, though.
Not on purpose, but I'm telling you right now, that's a nice little steak dinner that Mike Yastrzemski will get from Pablo Sandoval.
Left fielder is Alex Dickerson. And that one is down. So what you'll notice about the Giants, as Gabe Kapler told us earlier today, they're going to platoon a lot of guys. And when Kershaw was originally slated to start, you would have seen guys like Austin Slater, Darren Ruff, and Donovan Solano in the starting lineup. But you now go to a righty in Dustin May, and that brings somebody like Alex Dickerson into play, who hits righties really well. He's a power hitter. He's had some injury issues in the past, but because you got a righty on the mound, that's the way the Giants are going to operate, at least to begin the season, under Gabe Kapler. Slapped in the hole, and Seager, no play on it as the shift was on. He was the only guy between second and third base. So Dickerson aboard, Sandoval the second on a single.
A couple times I've seen Dickerson do that. The other day did it against Mike Fiers, hit a home run opposite field in the summer camp game against the Athletics at home. Going the other way, pitches dealt that way. Defense playing the complete shift. No chance for Seager there.
Two aboard. Hunter Pence, the designated hitter, coming off a good year. Boy, that's 99, and that is a nasty two-seamer. You see it start off the plate and comes back and gets them. The 18 homers, the most since 2014 for Pence.
Spent the entire quarantine 5 days a week in Scottsdale, extra hitting the entire time, did not take any time off. Avid worker.
Beats that one into the ground. May has some time, fires over to first, and a nice play by Max Muncy. A little first inning, first game jitters. The Giants leave a couple. The Dodgers coming to bat when we come back. Years. Mookie Betts, the Los Angeles Dodger, will be for the next dozen years. Dodgers excited about that, and Mookie's certainly excited about it, getting his $365 million. He bats second tonight. Max Muncy will lead off, and you can see between the position and the name, LR, 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 LRR. Dave Roberts told us earlier today, we're going to go left, right, left, right, left, right. This is partly to deal with a giant bullpen, so remember, relievers have to face the minimum of 3 batters. It eliminates the ability to bring in a lefty just to face a lefty. Now you got to deal with lefty, right, left, right. And if there was a left-hander starting, you'd see Mookie Betts lead off for the Dodgers. And you'd go right, left, right, left. So you got a righty on the mound, which means a lefty leads off. And Johnny Cueto has been historically a very good pitcher, especially at Dodger Stadium, with an ERA of about 1.7 in his career starts there.
Yeah, if you want deception, this is the guy that will provide deception for you. He has to be able to maintain that delivery. You'll see so many different movements from him. He'll quick pitch you. He'll turn his back on you like Louis Tiant, and then he'll give you the conventional route. But one thing that he was is consistent in 2016.
Of course, we're in there. Those Dodger lineup brought to you by State Farm.
He has been a great opening day pitcher in his career. 0.64 ERA in 4 opening day starts. It's the lowest of any pitcher in history who's had at least 4 opening day starts.
Underneath it and making the play is Dickerson in left. So Max Muncy flies out, and for the first time in his career, Mookie Betts goes to bat as a Los Angeles Dodger. And that's kind of a look you'd expect on Dodgers' faces when Mookie Betts comes to the plate.
No standing O, no standing ovation.
Just think that we went from a possibility of Mookie Betts being traded to the Dodgers and never playing to Mookie Betts signing a 12-year deal for $365 million and never leaving the Dodgers.
Right, and the timing was curious to me, Ravi, about when they got this done, during, a pandemic and exactly when all the work was done on this, but still no surprise to me that they signed him long-term. This is Mookie Betts, a great, great player.
How about this? I love being here, love everything about here. Even though he hasn't been here very long, he loves everything about it. He's here to win rings and bring championships to L.A. 0-2, that runs high, 1-2. Very easy to love what that man has helped build along with Andrew Friedman, the culture, the team, the organization, and the money they have. And that one fouled off at the plate. Strike 3, no foul. They say he missed it. Ball was dropped and he's tagged out. So Mookie Betts strikes out in his first at bat as a Dodger.
And a little deception right there by Johnny Cueto. Exactly what he wants to do. Late action on that slider. It's been many that have chased that pitch. One guy that strikes out, not too much with 2 strikes. Very good 2-strike hitter.
Bellinger, he takes a wicked hack at that. The center fielder off a magical year last season. He was the only major leaguer, as you take a look at some of his numbers, the only major leaguer who led his team in hits, home runs, RBIs, runs scored, walks, and stolen bases.
And since 1960, Ravi, the only other players to do that in a season were Mookie Betts, Jose Canseco, and Albert Pujols. That just shows you how hard it is to do to lead in those categories in one season. And Eduardo, he really worked on his swing. He was not happy with the way he swung the bat the second half of the year. Hit 263 the second half as opposed to 336. What does that show you when a great player says it's not good enough?
I'm laughing more right now at Johnny Cueto while you're asking the question. I get it. It's the drive. That's what players always, they're never satisfied. Doesn't matter if he hits 40 home runs in the first half or not. He's not satisfied. Always looking to get better.
Cueto, quick pitches. We went bounce, dance step, last pitch, quick pitch, this one, and a running catch at the wall there by Alex Dickerson. What a play by the left fielder, and what a start to Johnny Cueto. I love it. We'll bounce, we'll quick pitch, and we'll look for our left fielder to make a catch up against the wall. Timmy loves Daddy Yankee. Welcome back. Dodgers and Giants begin the second inning. And look, we're improving. We didn't miss a bat. We missed a pitch. So that's the second pitch of this inning. And it was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball from the guy that was told yesterday, there's a chance you get the start. Clayton's back is getting a little cranky on him, so there's a chance you're going to get the start. People wondering why no Walker Buehler threw a sim game yesterday. Hasn't really been stretched out, so wasn't an option. That one runs high to Joe McCarthy, the right fielder, his first Major League Baseball game. Another shift on. And a nasty pitch there with some hard movement, a slider at 93 miles an hour.
How about this, McCarthy?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Just shows you, Ravi, this is his first Major League game, and they're already shifting on him, meaning they know all the stuff about him from the minor leagues also.
And in a Zoom telecast game, Eduardo knows deference to Tim. You let him go. When he's ready, let him go.
Let him be.
Just trying to get the hang of it, of 3,000 miles away.
Let him be. One thing, though, McCarthy did not know was that he was going to start today. How about that, opening day?
And how about that, 100 miles an hour first strikeout from Dustin May, who is likely and hopefully, according to Dave Roberts, going to give you 5 innings, 75 or so pitches.
That was cheddar right there. I get a text right now from Jimmy Edmonds just saying that's absolutely nasty, and he's right.
Mauricio Dubon next up, and this one on the ground, and that's fielded by Turner, and Justin Turner's throw in time, 2 up, 2 down. And Brandon Crawford.
And Ravi, we were talking about the way that Gabe Kapler is going to use his roster. Dubon was in the lineup against Kershaw also, but he was in there as the center fielder. But when they started a right-handed pitcher, he started the game at second base. I think we should get used to the Giants using a lot of moving parts and interchangeable pieces.
Except for the most part with this guy, Brandon Crawford, who is going to play nowhere else but shortstop. Hitting down in the order tonight, hitting the 8th spot. Tyler Heineman, the catcher, will bat 9th, and again, universal DH, National and American League. Hunter Pence playing the role of designated hitter tonight. And a big-time shift by Dave Roberts for Crawford. This looks like a little different inning, too, Eddie, from Dustin May. That high leg kick after the 100-mile-an-hour fastball kind of indicated he's breathing, comfortable, likes what he's doing now.
Well, that first inning's always difficult. That heartbeat's racing uncontrollably, but now he has a grasp for what that mound is.
Up the middle, tough play. Kike Hernandez in time for the 3rd out. Yankees and Nats still in a rain delay. No rain in Los Angeles, but Dustin May bringing the heat in LA tonight. 100 and a high kick.
Well, the veteran right-hander Johnny Cueto has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. This was the pitch right before the last one of the inning. A little shimmy, a little lean back, and then a quick pitch to get Cody Bellinger off balance and get him to fly out to left field. Johnny Cueto, he's going to be featuring a lot of that this evening.
Carl Ravitch, Eduardo Perez, Tim Kirch, and Muncy, Betts, Bellinger, 1, 2, 3. They were retired on a fly out to left, a strikeout, another fly out. We start with Justin Turner in the bottom of the 2nd inning, followed by Corey Seager and Kike Hernandez. Huge numbers for a Dodger team that just pounded home run after home run. In fact, last opening day, the Dodgers had 8 home runs. That one inside, and it got Turner, and there is a base runner aboard.
Yeah, Ravi, no team had ever hit 7 homers on opening day. They hit 8 last year. Sign of things to come for the Dodgers in 2019.
All right, so Dodgers home runs on opening day as you watch all 8 of them fly out. Peterson, Seager, Barnes, Hernandez, Peterson, Hernandez, Bellinger, and Muncy, the longest from Jock Peterson, 420. That was presented by StatCast 3D. And here's Seager on a team in which, realistically, Tim, Betts, MVP candidate, Bellinger, MVP candidate, Peterson could be in that conversation with a great year. Muncy's got a chance. Walker Buehler in a short season could be there. They have raved about that guy Seager. Tough catch over there by Crawford. He slaps the tag on Turner. And Turner is out at second base. So is Seager as Pablo stepped on the bag. The expectations, though, for Corey Seager are off the charts, according to Dave Roberts.
Yeah, and this is a nice play by Pablo Sandoval. Right there to his left. He quickly steps on the bag, throws a bullet over, and what a sure-handed shortstop Brandon Crawford has been his entire career. Nice play, both ends by 2 veterans.
After a hit batter, 2 quick outs on that one play, and the first pitch from Cueto to Kike Hernandez, the second baseman, misses, ball 1. Get used to that sight. Bellinger and Betts. Part of the reason the Dodgers, whether the timing was a little odd or not, part of the reason the Dodgers had a chance to extend an offer like that to Mookie Eduardo was because they really had nothing on the books after the 2022 season. Andrew Friedman has set himself up to make a couple of major signings.
And this wasn't a plan that just happened a year ago, not this year, a year ago. He had his mind made up with Mookie Betts, even when the Red Sox played the Dodgers in the World Series. He knew that was the guy that he wanted. and he got him.
And Ravi, Andrew Friedman showed incredible discipline, waiting for the perfect guy to come along before he spent all that money. You know, he comes from the Rays, and they didn't spend money there, and he waited and waited and waited, and he got the guy he wanted, traded for Mookie Betts, and signed him long-term. He wasn't going after the first big guy. He was going after the perfect guy for the Dodgers, and that was Mookie Betts given this team.
True, and it ended that way, but I mean, they kicked the tires on Rendon. They kind of looked at Garrett Cole as a possibility as well, and they ended up with those two guys going elsewhere on Mookie Betts, which is hardly a fallback plan. But they at least inquired on those other guys. Rendon apparently preferred to play outside of the LA area and in Anaheim, and that one is into right field and out. Shallow right field play made. I believe it was Mauricio Dubon who took away a hit from Jock Peterson. That's the third inning, third out, I should say. That guy, Gabe Kapler, is going to join us as we continue. Dodgers and Giants through 2-0-0. We saw this in the game between the Nats and the Yankees. All of the players on the field holding ultimately the rope, unified in their fight for social justice during the national anthem. A few of them, including Mookie Betts, and our guest, Gabe Kapler, decided to take a knee alongside Mike Yastrzemski there and a couple of other Giant players. Gabe, kind enough to join us. Good to see you again, my friend. Tell me about what it feels like to be in the stadium pregame when that is going on. All the players are kneeling and holding on to the same rope, if you will.
Yeah, a really important unifying moment for the players and the staff on both sides. I think we felt a sense of calm in the ballpark at that moment, and it was really good to be around players who were so committed to changing the current state of systemic racism in our country. So it was really, really empowering to see the action steps that were taken today by Major League Baseball, by the Players Alliance, Players Association. Everybody involved did a great job.
I know the players are proud that you are willing to kneel with them. Now help me out. What is this season going to be like, in your opinion, for the San Francisco Giants? Because it's different than what we're used to seeing with the names.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously all different, right? We're wearing masks, and I think people are prepared for the moment, but also this is all new, right? So every step of the way, we've got something that we haven't seen before, but we're all in this together. We're in this as a team, as the San Francisco Giants, and as an industry. Major League Baseball is doing a really good job.
All right, and I mean the names on the backs of the uniforms. You told us earlier you're really excited about the challenge you have here. Why?
Well, I love the players. They're pretty invigorating. They bring such a high level of energy. We saw it from the outset with Yaz leading off the game with that hustle play. I think they've supplied all the intensity throughout our modified camp, and they have continued to bring that intensity so far in this game. I'm proud of the work that they're doing.
Gabe, I wish we could see you in person, but it's great to see you, and it's good to hear you. Thanks very much for being with us.
Look forward to it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Gabe Kapler, of course, he was the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies last year and now with the San Francisco Giants. I'll ask you, Tim, how different a world, and I'm not talking about the pandemic, I'm talking about from a baseball perspective. You think about the names and the star power he had last year relative to what he's got this year. How different is it for him as you see the first bunt from Heineman get down and now Mike Yastrzemski attempts to bunt?
Right, well, just look at the Phillies team he had last year. There was some serious star power on that team. And then you look at what has happened to this team. Of course, Bumgarner's now with the Diamondbacks. Posey opted out. Evan Longoria's got an oblique strain. He's injured. Brandon Belt is injured. So he's going to have some people coming back. But it's not going to be anything close to the teams he had in Philadelphia when it comes to star power.
I think we're already seeing a difference also, Carl. You see Heineman there bunting, infield playing the shift. He'll take the bunt right there, and then Yastrzemski on an 0-1 pitch also attempting to bunt. Just giving a little perspective, a little difference. You're going to shift on them. They will try to take that bag, that free bag that they're giving them.
Pulled the fastball inside at 98, 1-2. He talked about Heineman. Said he hits velocity. We saw him bunt. He also talked about what a good base runner he is. He's down there at first, standing next to Mac Muncy. Yastrzemski in 107 games last year had 101 hits. He had 21 homers and drove in 56. He is the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski, a great Hall of Fame outfielder who played for the Red Sox.
And Ravi, he wears number 5, as you can see. I asked him about that last year, about potentially wearing number 8. He said, well, you know, I've got enough pressure with that name on the back. I don't think I needed the pressure of number 8 on my back like my grandfather. So he's happy wearing number 5, and he had a really nice rookie year last year.
I know the feeling.
2-2 in the dirt, 3-2.
Yaz is.
And Eduardo, I am so old. I covered Carl Yastrzemski as an active player, and this is his grandson. How about that?
You're still young at heart, Tim. You're still young at heart.
Probably didn't have to worry about a Zoom call back then either,
too.
did you? 3-2, laced into right field past the dive of Kike Hernandez. Betts fires into second base. Safe at second base is Heineman. And that ball was hit so hard, and Betts was playing so shallow, he had a chance on that force out.
Well, actually, he's playing straight up, but he charges this baseball like it's a do-or-die play at home plate. Heineman freezes right there after the secondary and has to freeze just in case Justin Turner makes the play. And Mookie alertly throws that ball to second, but Heineman just got in there.
So Mookie, of course, used to be a second baseman in the minor leagues. He played that a little bit like a second baseman because, again, he came up as an infielder.
But with that shift on, it was Turner who had a chance to make the diving play, not Kike Hernandez. And just watch right there, Heineman took a step back towards first. He wasn't sure if Turner was going to catch the ball, and that's what led to a close play. But the Giants, nobody out, 2 on, and that ball is laced into center field off the bat of Wilmer Flores. Heineman stops at third, base is loaded, nobody out for the Giants.
48, Pablo Sandoval.
Station to station, just taking what they give you, base hit after base hit. This is the second time around right now for the Giants facing Dustin May. And so far, Yastrzemski and Flores barreling 2 baseballs.
So Pablo Sandoval with a big spot in this game early in the third with no score, bases loaded, and nobody out.
And keep in mind, Ravi, going back to last year, of course, the Giants have gone now 26 consecutive innings against the Dodgers without scoring a run. And now they have the bases loaded with nobody out here in the third. Looks like that streak should come to an end.
One thing that's going to be in the forefront for the San Francisco Giants under Gabe Kapler is the analytics. They're going to be paying a lot of attention to those numbers. One of the numbers they're going to be paying attention is to the base running. Last year, the Giants were 19th when it came to base running metric under Fangraphs, and under Gabe Kapler, the Phillies were 4th.
Pablo looks like it's deep enough. Peterson is there. Heineman from third will come in, and the Giants score first on a sacrifice fly from Pablo Sandoval, and it's 1-0 San Francisco.
Number 12, Alex Dickerson.
Is this a good time to promote the book for Tim's book?
Is there a bad time, Eddie?
It really isn't. There really isn't. Pablo Sandoval right there going the opposite way, getting the ball in the air. Pablo. Again, a little run on that. He knows he's already going to drive one in, even with the catcher Heineman at third.
Best RBI season for Pablo was back in '09 when he had 90 of them. He picks up one here, and Alex Dickerson, the left fielder, who's already made a nice defensive play, singled his first time up.
Dickerson, of course, this is 13 straight years now that the Giants have had a different left fielder on opening day. It started, of course, with Barry Bonds in 2007, and then the streak of new ones began. And Dave Roberts, 2008, was the left fielder for the Giants, and now, of course, he's the manager of the Dodgers.
You want to go over those names of guys that have played left field since Bonds, Tim?
I mean, really, look at this list. How eclectic is this? It starts with the manager. Connor Joe opened in left field last year for the Giants. That's a beautiful group of names right there.
Power hitting Michael Morse, Dave Roberts in '08. We'll ask Dave Roberts about his left field experience with the Giants next half inning. I think that should be the first question to him.
I think we can do better than that.
One down, top three, first and second, Dickerson. Nasty swing and a miss on a good pitch. Dickerson was the Big Ten Player of the Year, Eddie, back in 2011. Former Indiana Hoosier on strikes.
And good off speed. You have to be geared up for the fastball, and then all of a sudden he throws that spinner up there, taking a lot off it. Dickerson commits to it. Didn't recognize it.
And Hunter Pence steps in. Eduardo talked about his work ethic. There were just certain guys that feel like they should be on certain teams, and Hunter Pence in San Francisco is one of those guys.
Well, he played last year, of course, with the Rangers, had an amazing comeback season, but now he's back with the Giants. So maybe you're right, Ravi. He belongs here.
Beaten into the ground, and Turner across the diamond retires Hunter Pence. We've spoken to Gabe Kapler. Time to ask Dave Roberts a few questions as we continue. 1-0 Giants. Los Angeles sunset out there as the Dodgers and Giants play opening night here on ESPN, and Dave Roberts kind enough to join us. Dave, what would you say your level of concern is with regards to Clayton Kershaw's back? Can you put Dodger Nation at ease?
No, I think it's minimal. I saw Clayton today, and just his demeanor just felt okay. You know, I think that when a player isn't feeling well or, you know, has something wrong, you can kind of sense it with their demeanor. So hopefully every day he gets better and be back with us soon.
You've played on great teams. You've been parts of great teams as a player and as a manager. Tell me, is there any team that compares to what you have currently? Is there a lineup that you think back to that is as good as this one?
I think as far as up and down the dynamic lineup, the ability to slug, value 90 feet to get on base, I think it's that 2004 Red Sox team that I was on. Pretty special group.
No, they were called idiots, weren't they?
They were, but it's different when you're self-proclaimed as
right.
opposed to other people calling you an idiot.
Well, have a great season. You're the furthest thing from an idiot I've dealt with. Thanks, Dave, very much. We appreciate it.
Hey, fellas, thank you so much. You guys were awesome.
Good man. That's Dave Roberts joining us. The 2004 Red Sox were a dynamic crew. Tim, you agree with that comparison of the ability to go 1 through 9 with that team and this one?
Yeah, that Red Sox team was great that year, and we'll come up with the 5 of the best lineups we've seen, but this Dodger team has a chance to join some really, really good teams with the way they hit the ball out of the ballpark. But Dave is right. They got guys that can run also. They can beat you in so many different ways. This is a tremendous offensive team with great pitching also.
Guys, really quick, keep an eye on Johnny Cueto and on Pollock's front leg. You thought he was going to do the high leg kick there, then confused him, got him off time, and it froze him right there with that off-speed pitch. A.J. Pollock's going to have to go without that high leg kick against Johnny Cueto because he will continue to deceive him with his timing.
Pollock's second strikeout victim. Austin Barnes, the catcher, bats ninths. And you see the numbers there at Dodger Stadium for Cueto, outstanding. Kershaw doesn't get the start, but perhaps Johnny Cueto deserves even more credit. Since 1990, the lowest career ERAs in season openers with a minimum of 4 starts is not Clayton Kershaw's 105, it's Johnny Cueto's 064.
And Rabbi, you talked about his 1.53 ERA in 8 career starts at Dodger Stadium. He's only allowed 1 homer here. Just shows you this is a great ballpark in which to pitch.
Right down the middle. All right, Eddie, you're the hitter. You explain the challenge that Cueto is presenting here.
Every time you talk to a hitter and they say, what's wrong with you? Well, I need to work on my timing. I need to get my timing. Well, this is what he does. He's a disruptor of the timing.
Wow.
Every time you see it there, and he has the ability of being able to get you out not only with the fastball, the changeup, the slider. He gives you so many different looks. And this pitch, in this tempo, you probably won't see it again in the game. In that at-bat, he gave him a quick pitch. He gave him the shimmy with a little curl and a little frosting on top right there. Again, very difficult to hit, especially with today's hitters that use that leg kick for their timing.
What a show from Johnny Cueto as he gets Max Muncy in the first pitch, misses. His ability to balance on that right leg and delay the delivery is impressive.
Look, it's all about body control, and Johnny Cueto has that body control. Needs to be able to keep it and sustain it because the velocity, it's not anymore in the mid-90s. He has to fool you with that off-speed stuff.
Muncy right center field and fairly deep, and it gets to the bottom of the wall. And Max Muncy with a stand-up double for the Dodgers. Their second base runner of their night and their first hit of the night.
Number 50, Mookie Betts.
Max Muncy, a prolific fastball hitter. They're giving him a lot of off-speed stuff. First time flew out to left field. This time sat on that pitch. He was able to drive it to the right center gap.
So Muncy aboard with his first double of the year. He had 22 last year, and here's Mookie Betts for the second time. He struck out his first time up. First pitch, ball 1. Flores. Mookie Betts retired again. That's the third out. We are 1/3 of the way through. 1-0 Giants. So Dodgers and Giants play now. Yankees and Nationals will not conclude that game tonight. It is being called 4 o'clock Eastern, Braves and Mets. That's Friday. 7 o'clock, you see the Brewers and the Cubs, and then at 10 o'clock Eastern time, the A's and the Angels. That is all part of our opening day Friday. We've got 2 games going on now, and we are pleased to have Walker Buehler, the great young pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, putting that headset on as Dustin May watches a ball fall in the glove of Bellinger for the first out. Mr. Buehler, how are things going for you? How would you describe summer camp leading into this game for your baseball experience? How would you describe what's going on?
Well, man, you guys can see it's different. It's definitely quiet, but things are good. We feel good about our team, and I'm excited to get going for sure.
Now, would you say you're one of those guys that feed?
Walker,
feed off the emotion, the energy of a game, and how do you generate adrenaline? How do you anticipate generating adrenaline?
You know, you got to hope that the other jersey's going to kind of help you that way. Obviously, we've been playing against ourselves and at a couple of these exhibitions, but you know, facing another team certainly helps. Obviously, Dustin has got a little adrenaline going and throwing 99, so you know, I think we'll be all right.
Walker, what did you do during the 4 months basically there? How did you stay sharp? How did you stay engaged in such a strange time?
Yeah, you know, you got to break a few curfew laws and sneak onto some fields and things like that to throw, and you know, I'm all right with that, but try and work out when you can, and you know, throw here and there, but you know, get back out here and get back into the swing of doing this stuff every day. You know, routine I think certainly helps, and you know, the culture in our clubhouse doesn't allow you to really take anything off the gas pedal, so just getting around the guys and getting back into this thing.
Walker, how eerie is it right now to be playing in an empty stadium? You guys are so used to having a full house there at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I've definitely never seen it quite like this. I don't think anyone has, but you know, they're doing what we can with the crowd noise and the cutouts and things like that, and you know, even if it is only 60 games, that's 60 games we can keep improving and fine-tuning and, you know, getting some more noise. Hopefully it's a little quiet in here, I think, but you know, they'll iron it out.
Well, what prepares you for this? Anything?
No, you know, you dream your whole life of coming and playing at the big stadium and all the fans, and then there's none. So it's a good pitch there. No, it's different. You know, I think it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Well, we can't wait to see you on the mound soon, and we appreciate you being with us, my friend. That's Walker Buehler joining us here. Thanks, Walker.
Absolutely. See you guys later.
All right. It's a May Day. He's been great so far, even though he's down 1-0. For an update on what's going on with that Yankee Nationals game, we send it to Kevin Connors. Kevin? Former great Little Leaguer and now a big-time big leaguer, Cody Bellinger. He's the center fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And tonight, as we begin this 2020 season, playing in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts, which is what 2020 will be about in certain stadiums, as we saw in Washington. That was not the plan, and we will watch all sorts of different approaches by teams. Most will have some music playing and organists and a public address announcer. Some will have cardboard cutouts. You get a cardboard cutout with your likeness for $299 at Dodger Stadium in the Dugout Club, which is the faces you're looking at, and the Pavilion. $149 gets you in the Loge Field.
Hey.
Tommy's got a cutout.
Tommy?
They got about 4,500. 4,500 cutouts. Yeah, that'd be great if he bought two, and in the 7th inning the eyes started to close a little bit. Then we'd have some action going.
Where's the pasta?
Emotional cardboard cutouts. That's the next iteration. Bellinger flew out to left his first time up.
See what Johnny Cueto does here as far as tempo.
Hit it hard. Bellinger is 0 for 2.
So far, the defensive shift that the Giants have put on, the Dodgers have worked. We've seen ground balls to second base in the hole, past Sandoval, still out. Again, he continues to disrupt the timing of the Dodgers. This is what Johnny Cueto, it's hard to study him on film. You're like, okay, what is he going to do? He's quick pitched and he's thrown the fastball. There he throws the changeup. He'll do anything at any time. It's just his own rules.
Delays there and right down the middle at 91 miles an hour. Turner couldn't pull the trigger.
Don't forget that leg kick that Justin also has. Big time disruptor.
Eduardo, hitting in the big leagues virtually impossible as far as I'm concerned. But how much more difficult is it when you take that much time off in between spring training and then summer camp? And summer camp is truncated. You're not playing real exhibition games for the most part. How difficult is it to get back what you had maybe after 3 weeks of the regular spring training?
Tim, I'm going to answer it a simple way. I don't know, because no one knows. I mean, what these players have gone through right now, really there's not a way to say, oh yes, it's this difficult or it's not that difficult. The players are going through something that they've never gone through before, and they're being disrupted as far as their comfort zone. I mean, we're at the end of July here, and this is opening day. And the players, some of them revamped their swings, changed it during the quarantine. Others didn't even pick up a bat. Some did. So we don't know, and we don't know what to expect out of each one of these players.
Well, you get a couple of guys here. Cueto back after Tommy John surgery. Seager back after Tommy John surgery. And remember, prior to the injury, on a team loaded with candidates to win an MVP, this guy was always in the conversation. As young as he was, as he sends this one the other way, it's going to get down and go to the wall. So Corey Seager is going to head into second base with a double.
Okay, if there's a guy in the Dodgers that will take advantage of having Bellinger, that's all those guys in front of him, it's going to be Corey Seager. Finally, this offseason, he was able to work out completely healthy. It's the first time in a few years that he was able to do that, and this is one of the things that he was not able to do when he was hurt. Drive the ball the other way with the 30, and all Dodger fans know about Corey Seager is he can hit the ball out line to line with authority, barreling pitch after pitch. And that's exactly what he did during summer camp. 13 doubles he hit in summer camp during the inter-squad games. He just has his first one now in the regular season.
Great sign for the Dodgers to see him healthy and aboard at second base. With two down, Kike Hernandez will try to even this game up, if not give the Dodgers a lead. This one a little blooper, it's going to drop. And the Dodgers' first run of 2020 comes thanks to a Seager double and a Kike Hernandez bloop single for an RBI to make it 1-1.
I asked one of his coaches early on, give me something on Kike Hernandez, and he said, hey guys, his mind is caught up with his tools. A very toolsy player, athletic, and play all over the place, but now he understands what hitting's all about, both not only against lefties but righties. He's getting that opportunity. I don't know about the mustache, but everything else seems to work well for him.
Wait, what's wrong with the mustache?
I grew up, I picked mustache, Kike. If it works 2 for 2 so far today, I'd keep it.
He's aboard Jock Peterson, who rounded out his first time up. Peterson, 36 home runs last year, 74 runs batted in. Outstanding home run derby participant as well. You're batting Jock Peterson, who mentioned the 36 last year. Basically, you pencil him in for about 28 a year, hitting in the 7th spot for the Dodgers.
Remember last year, he was their leadoff hitter.
Well, it's interesting, too. Mookie Betts, when he was with the Red Sox, you know, they bounced him around a little bit. Lead off, hit second. He would hit third. He'd hit cleanup. They moved him around, but there were times where you got the sense that Mookie was more comfortable in a particular role, like hitting leadoff. And maybe he ends up there. We know that's the plan against lefties, but maybe he ends up there on a more regular basis. That single from Peterson moves Kike to third. They got men on the corners.
Number 11,
Yeah, Carl, let me tell you this. Mookie Betts is going to be the leadoff hitter for the LA Dodgers. Give it 20 games. Right now, the plan is, yes, to move him back and forth, but we saw it didn't work last year. And once they put him in the leadoff spot, he took off. He was a better player. He knew what his role was, and it's about comfort when it comes to players. And when you give this guy a 12-year, $365 million deal, man, just lead him off.
So Betts on the bench. Watching right now as A.J. Pollock bats, with Kike Hernandez at third and Jock Peterson down there at first.
Little odd, Ravi, to see a DH in the National League, of course. Eddie, do you like the universal DH? You think it's here to stay?
I like everything about this year. You can put anything you want, anywhere you want, and as long as we have baseball, I'm in. And I'll take the DH. And we've seen a lot of pitchers get hurt on the offensive side, and there's so much money invested into them that I want to see them on that mound. And if that's what's going to keep them safe and on the mound, then I'm all for it.
Major League Baseball earlier today announced an expanded postseason.
I'm just all for it.
So that, along with the universal DH, the minimum 3 batter requirement for relief pitchers, a 60-game regular season with 40 against your own division and 20 against the other division, whether it's the East, the Central, or the West. If you play in the NL West, you'll face 20 games from the AL West.
And Ravi, part of that expanded playoff situation is instead of playing a 1-game wild card, there are going to be 3-game series to start the playoffs. And if every playoff series goes to the end, there will be 65 playoff games this year, which is just a stunning number for October. But that's what it's there for, designed to games that really matter in October.
ESPN will carry 7 of those best-of-3 series. Turner will carry the other, so there are 8. The 16 teams, you will have a 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3, 6, and 4, 5. Best 2 out of 3. The team with the better record will host all 3 games. Now, I'm with you, Eddie. I think all of these experiments, if you will, and we'll get into which ones you think will stick and which ones won't. But I think some of these changes are here to stay, and I know there's a collective bargaining agreement and these have to be agreed on by the players, but I get the sense that there are some that are going to be here to stay. Cueto misses and a walk, and that loads up the bases here in the bottom of the 4th. Pitch number 60 for Johnny Cueto.
I am hoping the put a runner on second base to start the 10th inning of a tie game is something that doesn't stick around. To me, that's not the way baseball should be played, but I must say, I want to see it happen in a game and see how things go. I'm just intrigued, but I'm not interested in seeing it long term.
Guys, watch Johnny Cueto right now. He's going from the windup, and I think this is a smart move for him. He feels a lot more comfortable. He's more deceptive from the windup than he is from the stretch. As soon as Corey Seager got the double, he's been on the stretch. He has yet to be able to get a hitter out. Single, walk.
K-Zone had that last pitch near a strike. That one is a swing, and a foul ball evens up the count 1-1 with the bases loaded for Austin Barnes, the catcher for Dave Roberts. And Great numbers with the bases loaded. On the ground, and that'll do it. Big out for Johnny Cueto. They got activity in the bullpen, but Cueto gets out of it. 1 run in. Dodgers and Giants 1-1 through 4. Of opening night baseball presented by John Deere is brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. In the background, you started with a shot of Clayton Kershaw, Justin Turner. The Dodger players, like so many players, have been great, active in their communities, supporting local restaurants, delivering meals to the Dream Center, which fed almost 12,000 individuals per day. And what a beautiful sight that is. The city of Los Angeles, as the sun sets, we head to the top of the 5th with the 2020 Major League Baseball season underway. A 60-game sprint is the way that nearly everybody is describing it. Every game will take on major significance. The other game tonight ends with the Yankees taking care of the Nationals, a game that was delayed by rain and then called. And games that get through at least the 5th inning will not be resumed. They are official. So the New York Yankees 1-0 on the season, the defending World Series champions, 0-1. The other story today, guys, around the Nationals was the positive COVID test that was revealed earlier today for Juan Soto, one of Major League Baseball's young superstar players. And Eduardo, I'm curious, as we watch Tyler Heineman foul one off, what the impact you think something like that, a COVID test to a superstar player, has on a team and a clubhouse?
Oh, major impact. When you lose your number 3 hole hitter, like Juan Soto, already having lost Anthony Rendon from the championship team, it's a devastating hit to the Nationals, especially in a 60-game season where you need to get out of the blocks in a hurry. The Nationals now, without their best hitter, that one's really going to hurt. And I think teams are going to take notice, and they're going to make sure that all their players continue to follow protocol all around and keep their friends away during this time.
Yeah, I wonder, Tim, about the anxiety.
Soto's career.
I just wonder, Tim, about the anxiety in a clubhouse when all of a sudden a player, doesn't really matter who, but a player tests positive. What that does to you psychologically, knowing that you've been around these players.
Right, and that's the real dangerous part is, you know, in whom did he come in contact with? And who's the next guy? And that's the real tricky part. Is it's not just today, it's who is going to get tested tomorrow and the day after that. So it's a very uneasy feeling. I know Davey Martinez was said, I need to see these test results for all of our players to figure out where this is going.
Tyler Heineman is aboard again. We saw the bunt single, scored a run, and that was a shot into right field. He's 2 for 2 and back to the top of the order. Mike Yastrzemski, who has reached twice. And this ball, shallow right field. Betts won't get there. It drops in front of him, and Heineman will end up going to third base. So Yastrzemski and Heineman have been up and reached base all 6 times. 5 times, I should say.
This is pretty much a repeat. And this is pretty much a repeat of the top half of the 3rd inning. Both getting on with no outs. This time Yastrzemski getting jammed. That bat dying a warrior. Every time you get that single broken bat, you'll take it. Heineman wisely, good jump right there. Gets all the way to 3rd.
So a big spot now for Wilmer Flores. He singled his last time up. Late on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone.
Good hand-eye coordination for Wilmer Flores. Dustin May most likely looking for the strikeout here with a runner at 3rd.
Dodgers bullpen busy. Caleb Ferguson throws, the lefty. At one point, Drew Smyly started to loosen up for the San Francisco Giants. That's a good pitch.
And Ravi, we've seen relief pitching used so often in the last few years, and I think we're going to see it more often this year, even though it's a shortened season. There's just going to be no reason to push a starting pitcher too hard when you have extra roster spots and so many pitchers out there, so many good ones coming out of the bullpen.
Bottom of the strike zone, Flores punched out, and the 4th strikeout for Dustin May.
Well, he gave him different looks. First he went slider up in the zone, and this time goes with that slider right at him, gets him on his heels. Watch Wilmer's heels right there. Once he gets off his legs, he's done. No chance to pull the trigger. Big time strikeout. Now runners in the corner. That should be it for May.
Yep. Looks like Dustin May is coming out. Caleb Ferguson, who appeared in 46 games last year, comes in for the first time this year. The 2020 season live or on demand. Watch the game's biggest and brightest stars every night on MLB.tv. Stream games, highlights, recaps in high definition online and on your favorite devices. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. All right, so the lefty is on. That's Caleb Ferguson. And again, new rule now with 1 out. He has to face at least 3 batters. However, if the inning ends, he doesn't have to come back to start the next inning. But if he does, he has to face the 3 guys starting this. So if he just gets 2 quick outs and comes back, he only has to face 1 more. Pablo Sandoval, men on the corners. Double play ball is what the Dodgers want in the first pitch. Fastball misses away.
And this is.
And Ravi, I haven't found one manager who's all in favor of the 3-batter minimum for a relief pitcher. They think managing is hard enough. This ties the manager's hands even more. We'll see how this rule plays this year. And I'm with Eddie. Let's use all the gimmicks. Let's try everything this year to see what works and what doesn't work. I'm not sure that was going to work long term.
You know what though, Tim? I thought once this season obviously got delayed because of the COVID situation, and it jump-started again, I thought they were going to take this rule away just to protect the pitchers. Some pitchers aren't built up for, if it's the 3 hitters, and to be able to get them. I thought this was one of the rules that was going to just start next season in a full season.
One-two to Pablo. Fouls it straight back. And who almost made that play? Yeah. Almost had it. There are a few teams who apparently if a ball, this feels like a carnival. You know, when you used to get the baseballs and you throw it, and if you knock down. Well, in this case, there are some teams who if a ball hits your cardboard cutout, you will then be given that baseball.
No glove necessary.
Ferguson will go to second and get the out there, and now maybe in a rundown. And in fact, in a rundown is Tyler Heineman. No tag made, throw back, double play, end of inning. Bad base running there will cost the Giants as Tyler Heineman caught off third base. Dodgers top of the order coming up when we come back in a 1-1 game. Tonight on ESPN, tomorrow 3 more games. The openers for these teams, the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. That's Going to be a good one, and that should be a great race all year in the National League East. Brewers and Cubs kick things off in the Central at 7, and then out west we go for the Angels and the A's. All the telecasts presented by John Deere, and you can always watch all 3 games on the ESPN app. One of the good men in baseball, Matt Chapman, Platinum Glove winner. He joins us now. He, of course, plays for the A's. We'll talk about the series with the Angels coming up, but I'm curious how you're doing. Like, what are some of the biggest changes you've noticed with regards to your day-to-day life as a baseball player, Matty?
Lots of changes. One of the biggest changes, probably the amount of time you can spend at the fields. Getting to the field early was something I always like to do. I tend to seem to waste some time at the field and just wander and not be on task. So I've had to be a little bit more on task at the field. I've had less time to get all the stuff, to get everything done and get ready. But I'm starting to manage. My ADD isn't too bad.
I was going to say, so where are you wandering now? Like, where do we find Matt Chapman just wandering?
Definitely, I'm not wandering in the streets. It's a dangerous place out there. But you can find me in my front room doing some yoga or stretching out, trying to take advantage of all the time at home before we get to the field. So I just show up to the field ready to go. And then just business as usual at the field, trying to just be more productive, maybe get some stuff done outside that usually you get done inside. We use the Raiders locker room now. They've been keeping that from us for too long. I mean, that thing is massive. We love that place. I mean, going from our other locker room to the Raiders locker room feels like, I feel like I'm living like a king.
Well, why don't we, aren't the Raiders gone? Why don't we just occupy the locker room?
It is. We now own the Raiders stuff.
Oh,
they're gone.
good.
They're in Vegas for good. I've seen that place, so they're set.
They're out. All right, good. Drew Smiley now on the mound for the Giants. Max Muncy pulled a home run distance ball foul, and he's hacking away at 2-2. So Matt, we're in an environment.
Been just struck by how quiet it is at these games?
Yeah, it definitely is a little different. The fake crowd noise is something. It's like some white noise in the background while you're playing, but it's definitely different. I think we're all making the most of it because we know that, hopefully this is the last time we ever have to do something like this, but we're making it fun. It's definitely not the same environment you're used to playing in, so got to find a way to just make it real, make the, I'm sure it won't be hard now that the games are real, but with no fans there and no noise, it is a little different. You hear, might be hearing some of the other teams say some things you're not used to hearing.
Mookie Betts is up, Matt. Now, please, if I'm a player and I'm of your skill level and I see a contract like that, I would naturally think if I just stay healthy and I keep producing, I'm going to be a mega millionaire. Do you think that way? How do you not?
How do you not? I think you have to just make sure that, obviously that's everybody that's playing baseball's goal is to, win a World Series, but also to, sign a contract and become a free agent, have your choice of where you'd like to play. It's something you think about, but, take it from me. Don't think about it too much because it's not what's most important. What's most important is going out there and taking advantage of every day you got. And I think if you're good enough, that's going to happen. I'm sure Mookie thought about it, but I know he just goes out there and takes care of business, and then good things happen.
Matty, when you're playing third base, and last year, I was breaking it down how deep of a third base that you play compared to all the other third basemen in the league. How much pride do you take in that, and why do you play so deep?
Definitely take a lot of pride in that. The deeper you play, the more hits you can take away, in my eyes. Obviously, you kind of are going to give up some swinging bunts or some slow rollers, maybe, if the guy's fast. But the more room you can cover back, it takes pressure off Marcus in the 6th hole and allows him to go up the middle. I can steal some doubles down the line. And to be able to say that you play deeper than anybody definitely is something that you could take pride in. Never thought about it until the analytics came out, but now I feel like guys are starting to move further and further back, so I'm just going to have to play like shallow left to hold the title still. I mean, no wonder my arm's so sore.
Here's another superstar, Bellinger at the plate. I've seen your arm. It looks like you could go close games if you wanted to. You know, it's amazing what's gone on, Matty, with the West Coast, whether it's Betts or Rendon. It's getting crowded out there with superstar players. How aware are you of player movement, especially when they're all heading to your neck of the woods?
Seriously, it seems like the NL and AL West are pretty loaded. I mean, across the board, outfielders. I mean, look at, if you just combine the NL West and the AL West, that's some pretty good third basemen, to say the least. But to have Bellinger and Betts batting back to back was pretty ridiculous. And then you got Rendon and Trout. So there's some tandems for sure. I mean, we got Marcus and Olsen, a lot of guys on our team. I mean, and then obviously the Astros, enough said with them that they are pretty much a full team of all-stars. So the West is getting crowded with a lot of talent, and you know, it seems like a lot of guys want to come out to the West Coast, whether that's for, you know, good baseball, good weather, whatever it is.
But wait a second. What do you mean enough said with the Astros? What does that mean?
I need to see you're going to say that. Enough. I mean, I don't need to tell anybody how good they are. Everybody already knows how good they are.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe there was something else. Okay. My
bad.
No.
I hear you. No, but you know, nobody needs to be told how good the Astros are. They do it year in and year out.
And by the way, that didn't get by me either, where you said a nice tandems out there, and you said Marcus and Olsen, but you didn't put yourself in that mix. What?
Hey, they hit better than me last year.
All right, I see you working.
But hey.
But look what it says. Look what it says up in that upper right corner. Did you see what it said in the upper right corner? Two-time platinum. Two-time platinum.
I know, both of you guys were there for that both times.
That's right.
That's some good times right there.
You and your high school coach, Nolan Arenado, speaking of third base.
Yeah, see, he's in the West too.
We'll let you go. I just want to, give me a feel for the A's and what you guys feel going into the season, the bitterness of the way it ended last year.
Yeah, I mean, well, with the definitely feel confident coming into this year. I know at the start of this season we felt like this was, you know, the best team that we've been able to put together over the last couple of years. We've had some, 2 97-win seasons in a row, but to be able to add some more pieces we feel confident about. Our pitching staff is getting more experience, and you know, our lineup seems to be just getting used to playing with each other, and we're able to, learn from each other, grow together as teammates and players. And I think that this year we have all the things that it takes to make a run. And, with the expanded playoffs, it only helps our cause. But, our goal is to win the division. We feel like we have the pitching, bullpen and starting wise to make that kind of run and take the Astros down. So that's the goal. We're feeling confident, and we know this is going to be a weird year, full of ups and downs, but I think our team is prepared to handle, whatever adversity gets thrown at us.
And lastly, can you quickly jump into July? Because the slow start in a 60-game season won't help. So can you just play July baseball, or is it going to be April baseball?
That is a good question. I guess we're going to find out tomorrow. But I think we've hopefully gotten some of our early woes out of the way, and we're ready to hit this thing rolling. Everybody has a shot right now, and that's what's pretty cool. It's pretty much like we're going into a playoff run in the stretch, and I think, when our team feels like we're close and we have a chance to, make a run and push for something, we always seem to come up. So I wouldn't bet against us.
Neither would I. Quickly, as Seager bats with 2 outs, if there's one yoga move you'd like Tim to practice, what would it be?
You got to practice downward dog. Get those calves loosened up, the hammies, the shoulders, just kind of wakes you up a little bit, a little coffee. And
yep.
I mean, you can pretty much conquer anything that day after that.
All right,
I don't
beautiful.
care.
We'll get him to do the downward dog. Matt, thanks very much, man. We'll see you tomorrow night. Look forward to it.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Matt Chapman, third baseman for the Oakland A's. Tim, we're going to work on the downward dog during the break.
I think I'm a little too short to do that.
You're already down?
So much energy, huh?
Chapman was great. Now, Dodgers trying to break this 1-1 tie here with Seager at the plate. Hit a double to the left center field gap. He's got Betts at third and Bellinger at first. Drew Smiley ahead 0-2.
Two really good sliders right there against Seager. See if he goes a little further out. Heineman has to be on his toes right here. Anything in the dirt has to block it. Runner at third. Last year, Seager struggled mightily between Philly and Texas. Texas ended up with an 8.42 ERA. 9 starts, 13 appearances total. 12 starts with the Phillies.
He's traditionally been a starter. You go back to 2012 when he was with the Detroit Tigers. He started 18 games. A couple years later, 25 with the Tigers. And to your point, Eddie, with Texas and Philadelphia, 21 starts last year. 30 the year before, I should say, in 16. But obviously being used out of the pen, and how teams use the pen and long men versus just the 3 guys. And that's a big strikeout. Drew Smiley, effective for Gabe Kapler. We'll stay 1-1 as we head to the 6th.
Every day, we come together as brothers, as equals, all with the same goal: to level the playing field, to change the injustices. Equality is not just a word, it's our right.
Voice of Morgan Freeman, and some pregame images from the Dodgers and Giants with several players kneeling during the national anthem and the unified fight for social justice that we saw from all 4 teams tonight, kneeling and holding what appeared to be a long rope, signaling that they are all together as players, and managers and coaches involved as well. Yankees and Nationals, and the Dodgers and the Giants. 6th inning with the Black Lives Matter emblem behind, and a 1-1 game in the 6th. The bullpen continues again, so minimum 3 batters that Baez will have to face.
71 appearances last season. A whip under 1 at .95. One thing that the Dodgers have been working on is trying to get his tempo a little bit quicker. Notoriously slow on the mound. Try to keep that defense on his toes. On their toes. Excuse me.
Alex Dickerson, Hunter Pence, Joe McCarthy. Dickerson singled his first time up, struck out in the 3rd. So the Dodgers 41-19 through 60 last year. Most of the projections of the best teams in baseball, 37, 38 wins out of your 60 games. That one sails high. I wonder, Eduardo, what your feeling is on, players will tell you, until I get my first hit. Mookie reached base, but he hasn't got a hit yet. Until I reach base, you feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels in the mud. I wonder from a team perspective, you start a season 0-1, 0-2, 0-3. At what point does a 60-game season, feel like the end is here already?
I would say around the 15 to 20 game mark. And again, it's a 60-game season. Everything gets, who's he going to throw it to? There's no fans to throw it to out there. But on a 60-game season, there's again, the unknown. But I asked a lot of college coaches, even though they don't play every day, when is it that you start panicking if you don't start playing well? And that's the number that they gave me, and it makes a lot of sense. especially how teams are now playing within their own divisions. Some divisions easier travel than others, and some are just easier because of their strength of schedule.
In the expanded playoffs, Tim, changes the idea that there was probably teams that would be in a little bit more of a panic with a slow start. Now, instead of 10, you have 16 teams, 8 in each league getting into the playoffs. Gives you a little leash, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's an enormous difference with 3 extra playoff teams per league. So if you get off to that slow start, which is not recommended in such a truncated season, you at least can make it up with more playoff teams. And that whole playoff structure is going to be so different. And for those who think this is great, mad dash to the finish, every game matters, you know, everyone has a chance. It's even more of that with more playoff teams.
On one sales high. Eddie, do you think expanded playoffs are here to stay? And I think people who don't recognize, usually it's the clubs that benefit from the postseason. In this case, $50 million was given to the players, to the teams that make the playoffs. So there's obviously a financial incentive as well. Here to stay, expanded playoffs or not?
Here to stay. I believe so. I mean, you look at it this way. If you had 3 teams to the mix last year, the Cleveland Indians, Boston Red Sox, and Texas Rangers would have made it in the American League. And the New York Mets, Arizona Diamondbacks, and Chicago Cubs would have made it in the National League. I think it just opens it up to more fans not giving in, not giving up yet on their season. The Phillies would have been looking outside, and so were the San Francisco Giants. They would have had a chance last year. Even with a 77-85 record to end the season, they would have played it differently the last month.
Well, I'm all for expanded playoffs this year, Ravi, but when you play 162 games and you run away with your division, and then you have to play a 3-game series to start the playoffs, it takes a little bit away from, you know, the integrity of 162 games, that you can, you know, blow everyone away for a long season, and then you got to play a 3-game series right off the top, and anything can happen in a 3-game series.
Tim doesn't like change, Ravi. He doesn't like change.
I think Tim prefers much to be at a ballpark than sitting in his office doing a game off of a monitor. I think Tim is, if he could transport himself to any ballpark, he would choose that over most other places.
Look, anything is better than nothing. Trust me, this is great compared to what we've been doing for the last 4 months, but there's no substitute for being at the ballpark, and there is no substitute for crowd noise and the energy and the atmosphere at a ballpark. And this is great baseball tonight. I love it, but it's better when there are fans in the stands. Way better.
Baez got 2 down, 0-2 to Joe McCarthy. Popped up, shallow left, and it is Soros Seager who is over there and under to make the play. Bottom 6, Kike Hernandez, Jock Peterson, A.J. Pollock for the Dodgers, tied 1-1. Welcome back, everyone. Opening night baseball on ESPN. The telecast is presented by John Deere. Good game, Giants and the Dodgers. And the cardboard cutouts as we begin the 2020 season. Suit up for the season, MLBshop.com. Check out the 2020 on-field jerseys by Nike. Get the largest selection of official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, collectibles, and a lot more. Gear up with your favorite team at MLBshop.com. Game started by Johnny Cueto and Dustin May. The bullpens have now been activated. And a low-scoring affair tonight. Dodgers 8 home runs last year on opening day. And they've managed just 1 run so far tonight. Rico Garcia, last year, minor leaguer, as the ever-changing San Francisco Giants in 2020 parade out a variety of new names. Gone are the Bumgarners and Bochy's of the world, replaced by, as we saw last year, Mike Yastrzemski burst onto the scene. But tonight, Alex Dickerson, Joe McCarthy, Mauricio Dubon, Tyler Heineman, and of course Gabe Kapler, the manager. Kiki Hernandez tried to bleed one in there, but not this time. So he's 2 for 3, retired.
Thank you to everyone who worked together over the last few months to help each other out.
Like our fans who colored this commercial while staying safe at home.
Beautiful, isn't it, Red? I mean pink? I mean teal? I mean whatever's going on there.
Dodger fans supporting their team by getting some cardboard cutouts of themselves as Jock Peterson steps in. It felt a lot like during summer that the hitters were a little ahead of the pitchers. Tonight, the pitchers have been up to the task against, especially in the Giants' case, a very good Los Angeles Dodger offense.
They've been aggressive. They've been able to hit their spots well, and give a lot of credit to Johnny Cueto going out there. 5 hits, 1 run, and the same with Dustin May. Last minute call to throw an opening day game at Dodger Stadium, an empty one at that. But still able to control his nerves and give the Dodgers quality innings.
That was our pitching summary. It's brought to you by Geico. How about that Garcia changeup to Jock Peterson? Peterson beats that one into the ground, and the flip to Garcia for the out. Jock Peterson, you can hear because the stadium is empty. Upset with himself, an expletive. He heads back to the dugout.
Ravi, I covered that fanless game in Baltimore in 2015. Buck Showalter, then the Oriole manager, told me, you have to be real careful what you say when there's nobody in the stands, because everyone can hear you, meaning you can't say too loud to somebody on the bench because the first baseman, say, can hear you. He said it was so quiet. He said we didn't even need our bullpen phone. I just got on the top step of the dugout and yelled, you better get Britton up, because there was nobody in the stands to make any noise. And that's what we're seeing to some degree here.
Celebrity cardboard cutouts at Dodger Stadium. Tommy Lasorda, who we've seen a few times, isn't the only one. And that one is deep into the hole, and it gets through 2 different defenders. Dubon was shaded. Pablo gave it a run, and it got all the way to Joe McCarthy. So A.J. Pollock will reach base.
First time you see there the shift in speed against the Giants. Vaughn trying his best to go to his left, but even if he would have fielded it cleanly, no chance to get Pollock in that one.
That guy there, to Tim's point, Mauricio Dubon, is like, as he said, I'm trying to forget everything I've ever learned. He basically spent his entire life learning how to play shortstop. And he was supposed to play center field tonight, but they moved him over to second base. So here's a guy who is one of those Swiss Army knives. A lot of Giant players are that way. Doing a good job so far through 6. As we welcome back baseball, MLB would like to honor, remember, and thank the frontline heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. You see Brandon Crawford, Evan Longoria, Hunter Pence, Gabe Kapler. They took to social media honoring local nurses on National Nurses Day. So we echo the thoughts of all those who have been so great in their efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, the frontline heroes. And the front line, the second line, the third line, everyone doing their part. And an amazing effort by Major League Baseball and the players in particular to get this game back on the field. There was all sorts of skepticism going into this thing that this was ever going to come to fruition. And the ability of the players to pull together, do what was necessary. Here we are starting a baseball season on July 23rd, 2020. Speaking of frontline workers, many of them at Dodger Stadium, because that has become one of the central COVID-19 testing sites in the Los Angeles area. As you see the cars and the waits that we've gotten used to. Amazing patience.
Ravi, some of these teams have just been so careful. One of the Mets told me that he got his temperature taken twice before he got out of his car. Every day he went to the ballpark during summer camp. Then he waited in line to get into the ballpark, had to answer all of the questions, go through all the tests just to get into the ballpark. And then if he left the ballpark for an hour to go get something to eat at any point during the day, he would have to go through the whole thing again. It's just another reminder how careful these teams are being with the health and safety protocols, because they have to be. Otherwise, who knows what it could lead to.
Dubon strikes out, and Baez continues to do a good job. You know, one of the things I worry about, Eduardo, I guess, is this idea when a player tests positive, somehow some fans are going to look at that and be suspect of the behavior that led to it, when in fact you may have done absolutely nothing wrong. And you'd hate for a player who tests positive to be cast in a light that wouldn't necessarily be warranted. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Pitching change in LA. Social distancing, as we remind you that T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. Now through August 3rd, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Looks like Clayton Kershaw out there. Saw a shot of Max Scherzer at one point during one of the summer games sitting behind home plate. And Adam Kolarek becomes the fourth pitcher for the Dodgers in this game. 80 games last season, a 3.27 ERA, a whip of 1.16. Submariner on the ground, Seager. 2 down.
Ravi, Kolarek had more one-batter appearances than any pitcher in the league last year. So he's one of these guys, you have to use him properly. So they brought him in. He only has to get he only has to face 2 batters here if he gets them both out. But with 3 left-handed hitters in a row, he could get the final 2 batters in this inning and then face Mike Yastrzemski to start the next inning. So this is where the strategy comes in.
And guys, really quick right there, and it's something that you rarely saw Bruce Bochy do, and now you're seeing Gabe Kapler do. They just hit for Brandon Crawford, lefty on left, in the top of the 7th inning.
Iggy Betts calls off Kike Hernandez. New administration in San Francisco. Dodgers trying to break the tie with Muncy, Betts, and Bellinger when we come back. indeed starts tonight. The Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankees winners tonight in a range-shortened game over the Nats. They are the co-favorites to win the World Series according to Caesars at plus 350. Shortest World Series odds for any team entering a season since 2011 when the Phillies were plus 350 to win it all. No preseason favorite, by the way, has reached and won the series since the 2016 Cubs. A lot of bullpen activity and a lot of outs, quick outs. Mookie Betts retired and Muncy retired. Here comes Mookie Betts.
Number 50, Mookie Betts.
Guys, and this is Tyler Rogers on the mound, and he's here now because he's able to get not only righties but lefties out from way under. Watch how low Tyler Rogers releases this baseball. Very uncomfortable as a hitter. You don't see a lot of submariners in today's game.
Solano in at first base. Dubon is moving over to third base as Gabe Kapler's starting to move guys around.
And Eduardo is a right-handed hitter. How much did that arm angle bother you, or did it?
Well, the one thing you have to do if you're a right-handed hitter is change your approach completely and try to drive the ball to right center field every time you face one of these guys, because that ball will run into you. Have to keep your hands tight to your body. And unless they throw that pitch right there, that slider. And when he throws that slider, that's the one, because you're thinking the other way, you're able to then barrel it and pull it. Mookie wants that baseball. First hit as a Dodger.
First hit of who knows how many as a Dodger before Mookie's done.
Again, slider. All because he's thinking stay middle, and then all of a sudden, once he recognizes that spin,
Pablo knows the significance too. Pablo's signaling for the baseball as well. Betts aboard for the second time tonight. And the go-ahead run with one down for Cody Bellinger. Rogers stays below the strike zone. He's got an identical mirror image twin brother Taylor, who pitches in the Twins organization. Tim, they are the 10th set of twins to play in Major League Baseball. Bellinger,
Canseco's, of course.
Yes, a father-son combination. That one is slapped the other way. Fair ball. Let's see what Mookie Betts does as it bounces off that wall. And Betts into third base. Bellinger to second. Second and third, one down as the Killer Bees get it done here in the seventh.
And we're going to hear about this combo for many years. The Betts-Bellinger combo. Pitch stays out over. A good sign with the Dodgers every time Cody Bellinger hits the ball to left like that. Spin comes off the wall. Mookie sees the ball in front of him. He takes charge. No reason to need a coach. Great instance on the bases.
Big spot for Justin Turner. Both hits from Betts and Bellinger on balls up in the strike zone.
Infield playing in.
Slow roller. Betts coming home, sliding in, safe. Mookie Betts gets that left hand in, and that base running intelligence gives it a 2-1 Dodger lead.
It's about that jump, something that you practice and a lot of players take for granted. Mookie Betts does not take for granted. Donovan Solano now playing second base. Quickly throws the ball home. They're going to check this one. But watch Mookie. Always keeps his feet moving. Slides to the outside part. He's in there safe.
No doubt he's going to be safe, and the Dodgers are going to grab a 2-1 lead. That left hand slides across the plate not lifted up, as you can see. A lot of times that hand will come up when they slide it. He stayed low, and Mookie Betts base running a difference here.
He's got the oven mitt pad on also. Clearly safe. It all starts with the jump. He does, taking that secondary, never stopped moving his feet. As soon as point of contact, he was able to go. Great jump.
Ravi, this is one reason why he got this kind of money. We know what kind of offensive player he is. We know what a great defensive right fielder he is, but he ran the bases and stole a run there when guys aren't doing much of that in the big leagues.
Very instinctual base runner and a 2-1 lead after Betts singled. Bellinger sent him to third with a double, and Turner brings him in on a slow roller on the infield where Mookie was off at the crack of the bat. Ground ball fielded, and a rundown now with Bellinger. Turner gets to third base. Bellinger is going to get tagged out.
That's a great job by Cody Bellinger. I mean, whenever you can get the defense to make more than 2 throws to get you out in a rundown, you're giving your offense a chance to get 2 runners in scoring position. Right there, Heineman was deked by Cody. By that time, he has both runners at second and third. He gives himself up. Nicely done.
Seager advances to second, so a chance for Kike Hernandez having a good night. Looks at strike 1.
Of course, Hernandez playing second tonight. Gavin Lux, who was supposed to be their second baseman coming into the season, but had a difficult summer camp, showed up a little bit late for various reasons, and is not with the everyday team. There's a knock for Kike Hernandez.
A big knock brings in 2 as Kike Hernandez picks up his 3rd hit of the night. And the Dodgers lead it 4-1.
And you have to go back, and that's why Cody Bellinger is smiling right there, because that's a nice job of him getting those runners in scoring position. And Kike Hernandez maturing as a hitter, going the other way, side armor, just focused on staying that way with the fastball, and beautifully done. Hits the line drive, 2-run score, and then he takes second on the throw. Pablo struggling a little bit with his vertical there.
Well, Dave Roberts compared this Dodger lineup to the 04 Red Sox, and it is much about their ability to grind out at bats than anything else. They had home run power, but they made life miserable on all pitchers, and Rogers could not get the job done tonight. The Submariner leaves the game, and the Dodgers now up by 3. Welcome back to opening night baseball on ESPN, telecast presented by John Deere. Carl Ravitch in Bristol, Connecticut. Eduardo Perez, he's in South Florida. Tim Kirchin in Maryland. And Sunday night baseball, 7 o'clock Eastern time, Braves and the Mets. And then a doubleheader, the Giants and the Dodgers. Baseball tonight scheduled to be on at 6 p.m. Eastern time to get you caught up on what's happened during the day and preview the 2 games at night. Danny Jimenez.
Check this kid out. I want you to check this kid out. He has a very good fastball and curveball to go with it. If he gets that curveball over, very tough to hit. 2-pitch pitcher. They are high on this kid. Rule 5 made the ball club big-time strides after spring training heading into the summer camp. That curveball is going to play big for Mr. Jimenez. You know, Carl, the more I look, and again, I'm a big fan of the analytics, but fundamentals are just as important. And against a team like the Dodgers, the really good teams, they're going to take advantage if you don't do the fundamentals right. That rundown created that RBI opportunity, the 2 RBI opportunities there for Kike Hernandez. And that man right there is smiling.
Right. Cody Bellinger did a great job in that rundown, and the Giants didn't do a very good job in that rundown. There's no way 2 guys should have been runners in scoring position on that play.
2-0 to Jock Peterson. Strike 1. Jimenez, to Eduardo's point, is one of the interesting aspects of the Giants. Gabe Kapler told us earlier, you have to earn your time on this team. And if you show that you're capable and you do it consistently, you will play. He basically singled out Evan Longoria as really the only guy who, when he's healthy, is likely to play every day. He didn't say the same thing about anyone else. He gave a nod to Crawford and Belt when he gets back, but beyond that, he made the point that everybody here is playing for playing time.
Ravi, as we said, some of these Giants are used to this, of course. They had 64 players on their team last year, 23 of them rookies. So they're used to seeing a lot of guys coming and going. But you're right, that's Gabe Kapler's thing. Play well, you play. If not, we're going to find somebody else.
I just thought it was really interesting when he took Brandon Crawford out of the game in a 1-1 game. It really surprised me because he is the leader of the infield. And we saw the infield right there make a couple mistakes. And you need that leadership, that veteran presence. And you're sending him a message in the first game of the season that I don't believe that you can hit a left-handed pitcher, any lefty. And for a veteran, that's tough to take, especially with the new regime taking over.
They're laughing at the way that thing got so in the kitchen of Jock Peterson, Eddie?
Oh, yes. They have to keep it loose, especially when you're up 4-1. Those faces weren't like that when it was 1-1.
Last time we had the call strike. This time it looks like ball 4.
Tomorrow can only be better with Wendy's breakfast. Win with a breakfast Baconator, honey butter chicken biscuit, sausage egg and Swiss croissant, or a maple bacon chicken croissant free with mobile order purchase. Tomorrow's looking good.
So 2 on. Eddie, how are you doing with the time? Usually you're up at 4:30 for a KBO game. Here you are after midnight doing a major league game, and we just run a Wendy's breakfast commercial.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's good. It's a good different. You ready for our next KBO game? Maybe we have to put the alarm at 3:30. Oh no, not happening.
There was some news, by the way, which is relevant to Major League Baseball from the KBO, which if you haven't seen it, we're broadcasting 6 times a week early in the mornings, 5:30 a.m. starts. But in Korea, according to one of our insiders, our #1 insider, Daniel Kim, the Korean baseball fans are going to be allowed back into the stadiums beginning Sunday. Tickets will all be bought online. They'll all be wearing masks, but there is some hope, obviously, that Major League Baseball will be able to get fans back in the stands. There have been some fits and starts in Korea with rumors that they were coming back. Then that was put on hold, and now it appears as if beginning on Sunday, fans will return to Korean baseball games.
So normalcy back in the KBO. Well, Danny Jimenez also becomes the 784th Dominican to play in the big leagues. First one being Ozzie Virgil. And many more follow.
1-1 A.J. Pollock. Curveball just misses a little low. That's a lot of movement, though, Eddie, on that pitch. And he throws a fastball at about 94 miles an hour, a four-seamer. Looked like it nicked a little bit of the K-zone.
I'm telling you, it's a 12-6, and it's a hard spinner. That's what the Giants look. Farhan Zaidi looks at all those numbers. This kid has a live arm, but that pitch needs to work for him to make the number one effective.
Be an interesting year then for somebody like Brandon Crawford. To your point, if the message is being sent there, the message isn't necessarily Gabe Kapler alone. That message is in conjunction with analytics, front office. And either you begin to hit those lefties, Eddie, or you're not going to get a chance. That pitch on the corner, 3-2.
I get you 100%. I understand. But there's also the human factor and the leadership factor that goes with it, the accountability factor and the teachable aspect that you get from a player on the field. And I'm all in when it comes to the analytics. I love the numbers as far as the sport, but there is that human element. And that leadership quality that Brandon Crawford has with the championship rings that he has represented there and the experience, especially not having Belt or Longoria in that infield, you need it. And guess what? You don't know if in the ninth inning there are going to be a couple runners on, and maybe those analytics weren't in his favor in the seventh inning, but in the ninth inning you might be missing that bat against the right-handed hitter.
Now Jimenez has walked the last two. He gave up that single to Kike. It's a 4-1 lead. Bases are loaded for Austin Barnes. And the Dodgers can blow this one open here with one swing. And start this 2020 season off on the right foot.
Austin Barnes in the game because of his framing. And most likely with Kershaw, he was going to be Kershaw's catcher with the late scratch. They left him in there, and they needed that leadership with May on the mound.
These look like very good takes, Eddie, from the Dodger hitters, because that curveball looks like a strike for a long time, and then it drops out of the zone.
Yeah, well, young pitchers usually have a lot of tells, and this, again, a fastball, curveball guy. The Dodgers have a lot of video personnel. Maybe there's something they're picking up. Here comes David Garcia on the mound. Jimenez, sorry.
I had a chance to talk with Brian Cashman for about an hour the other day, and we were discussing the role that analytics plays and how frequently you have a conversation with your manager after the game if you kind of go against the numbers. The shift was on, safe at second base is A.J. Pollock, and the Giants give up another run.
Yeah, and this is, again, a little inexperience with the positioning. You already know if you're shortstop, Mauricio Dubon is way over to the third base side. Donovan Solano has to go to first base with this play. There's no reason to go to second. He's way over on the pull side. Again, very sloppy play by the San Francisco Giants. late into this game. Right there, Donovan has to understand where his shortstop is.
And part of the learning curve for the Giants and the growing pains this year is somebody like Dubon, who is being trained to play center field. Tonight has played in the infield. You just saw him coming from his natural position at shortstop, but there was no way they were going to get Pollock. The bases stay loaded, 5-1. So the point about Cashman, though, was those conversations do happen. You had all the information, and yet, you know, you went in a different direction. Can you explain what it was? And your point is often the answer comes from, well, you could just see, or we had a conversation with the player, he wasn't comfortable doing this or that. And I think that has to do with what you're talking about, the human factor.
There is. And again, there's that leadership factor also. Come into a situation where most likely Brandon Crawford had, I don't remember the last time he was pinch hit for in a 1-1 game in the 7th inning, even if a lefty was coming up, because of the value that he provided with his defense on that infield. And knowing that a right-handed pitcher could come up later on in the game and you could face him with runners in scoring position.
Well, Danny Jimenez just walked Muncy on 4 pitches. Peterson touches home, and it's gotten away from the Giants. Mookie Betts is going to bat with the bases loaded.
Also, the quality control coach is giving all the information there. Andrew Bailey, who's the pitcher.
Heavy hitter brought to you by Ram. And Mookie Betts got his first hit in a Dodger uniform, and right away said, I'd love to get that baseball. And his speed helped too as he slid that left hand inside that mid-A's across home plate. It was a big run at the time, and since then the Dodgers have kept on going. And here he is with the bases loaded in a 6-1 game.
4 career grand slams for Mookie.
Look at that bat. He had a good pitch at 94 to drill.
It. This was right down the middle. Andrew Bailey went up there and he said, don't be afraid to throw the number 1. And so far, 2 fastballs right down the middle to Mookie. Now a little pressure put on Tyler Heineman. Want this curveball to be in the dirt if he's going to throw it. If not, go a little bit higher with the fastball. Overthrew it. You're Heineman, because of the inexperience that Danny Jimenez has on the mound, you have to let him know that if you want the curveball, you have to point out in front. I want you to hit it in the, I want you to throw it in the dirt. I'll block it. You cannot assume that this young righty understands where he has to throw the baseball.
1-2 to Betts. Good pitch that time by Jimenez. Mookie Betts punched out with the bases loaded, but the Dodgers put a bunch of runs on the board. 5 of them. Then they lead it 6-1 as we head to the 8th inning on opening night of the 2020 season. John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Run with us. Dustin May started it. Pablo Sandoval and the Giants were 1-1 with the Dodgers until the last inning, in which the Dodgers flexed a little bit and scored 5. Mookie Betts got his first hit in the Dodger uniform, Made a nice play that we saw up against the wall there in right field in foul territory. As opening night 2020 starts with the Yankees winning over the Nationals in a game that was paused by rain and then ultimately called in the 6th inning. So Garrett Cole gives you 5 innings of one-hit baseball, picks up the win. Giancarlo Stanton hit a ball 459 feet in that game. It was a massive shot. He looks completely different this year than he has. He's just a little slimmer, a little more flexible. And again, the same way the Dodgers have a whole bunch of guys that can be MVP candidates, the Yankees have a roster full of potential MVP candidates. DJ LeMahieu came to camp late this year.
I saw Stanton.
And they didn't play him. Tim, that's how deep the Yankees are.
Yeah, the Yankees are, and again, they were helped in some strange way, of course, by the COVID, because Judge, Stanton, Hicks, they would not have been ready if we'd started end of March, but they're all ready, as Stanton saw today. And I saw him in spring training, and he looked less bulky there, and even more so today. And that ball he hit off of Max Scherzer, that ball was crushed.
Recently, one of our alums, Kara Lawson, took over as the women's head basketball coach at Duke University. And prior to that, had been working in the NBA with the Boston Celtics. The San Francisco Giants have a similar situation going on. That's in there for strike 3 as Kolarek picks up a strikeout of Mike Yastrzemski. Alyssa Nakin, she's a baseball coach for the San Francisco Giants, the first female coach in baseball MLB history. And the first to coach on the field during a major league game. She was a first base coach. She's been with the organization for a while in a variety of roles. And now very much a part of the fabric of the San Francisco Giants. January, first woman to coach on the field.
I spoke to Mike Yastrzemski about her today, and he said she is fearless. She gets right in the middle of everyone as in doing a drill, really understands the game, loves to talk about it. He said she hasn't thrown batting practice yet. We're waiting for that. That will be telling, but she's really made an impression on some of these guys so far.
Eddie, you have a couple of daughters. Did you ever think you would see a female coach, let alone one on the field in Major League Baseball?
I'm glad I have 2 daughters that, as soon as I saw it, let's put it this way. The other day they were playing the Oakland Athletics in San Francisco, and I told my daughters, I said, sit and watch, because she was coaching first base during the summer camp game against the Athletics, and I want them to dream. I want them to dream big, and just like Jess is doing here, a great job with us with baseball, Alyssa has now opened the door for many other female coaches to be able to do her part. And again, you read the comments of Gabe Kapler. You've seen the comments. I've seen comments from Brandon Crawford saying, you know what, we shouldn't make a big deal of it because she's prepared. She's been doing this and getting prepared for a long time. So I congratulate her, and she is just a small step into what could open the door for many more young ladies.
Kolarek, 2 strikeouts in the inning, and Pablo Sandoval looks at 1 inside, even the count up at 1-1. Dodgers got a good start from Dustin May, who was told yesterday, just be ready. Clayton Kershaw's back, tightened up when he was lifting some weights. It's good to see Clayton walking around. We saw him smiling, but Dustin May thrust into a starting role and did a good job. That velocity is outstanding. He looked composed. And then the bullpen has taken over for the Dodgers and given up nothing. Pablo, center field. Bellinger flips it to Betts. Maybe he'll flip it back to him. 6-1. Let's go bottom 8. Solidarity with those that are committed to anti-racism and the fight for racial and social justice. Visit MLB.com/social-justice to learn more. Pre-game, the players all with their hands on a long ribbon, and then some hands on the shoulders of those that took a knee during the national anthem. BLM, Black Lives Matter, on the mound at Dodger Stadium. As we head to the bottom of the 8th, and Bellinger will lead things off for Los Angeles. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off.
Sneaky fast. Look at the strikeouts compared to innings pitched last year in the minors. 121 innings, 154 strikeouts. Talking about a guy that hides the ball well. In release. A little bit across his body. Good fastball.
In your opinion, Eduardo, is there a component to a team that's going to be a difference maker, meaning offense, starting pitching, bullpen, speed, depth? I'll say this, just given tonight, Eduardo, the amount of pitchers that have been used, I would think that the goal of Major League Baseball was to have fewer pitching changes. That doesn't feel like what we've seen tonight.
Well, it doesn't, and again, it's what they don't want is one pitcher to face just this lefty and then all of a sudden having a righty face Justin Turner. They want the in-between innings changes to, that's okay. And that's what we're seeing Menez right now come in. But hitter after hitter, they want to at least accelerate the pace of game. Defensive swing right there. It's early. See a lot of pitchers still not built up to their strength. Cueto just went 4 innings.
How does that happen with nobody in the stands to blow up balloons? Where did that come from?
Maybe San Jose.
It just dropped in, happened to fall at the exact moment so it would land on the infield dirt at Dodger Stadium. Somebody call it. The pitcher ends up getting it. Menez. He ends up reaching in between the shortstop and the catcher.
Baseman number 10, Justin Turner.
Solano and Heineman watch Menez catch the ball. That'll put hair on your face.
Not a lot of pitchers make that play. Not a lot of pitchers make this play.
And not too many catchers run to this spot to make this play. Third baseman's got to be a little more involved on that.
Well, the problem is you have the shift. The third baseman is way out in right field, so that's why he's out of there. And then you have Donovan Solano, who is a second baseman. He's actually on the left field side of the infield, and he's playing a deep shortstop. So he hustled all the way in. Good job by Heineman trying to get out there, and Menez still sticking around. That's what happens with the shift.
It is. That just felt like it was up there nearly as long as the helium balloon that came down, but somebody else would have been able to get underneath it. Of course, the All-Star game this year was scheduled to have been played in Los Angeles. Canceled, then next year will be in Atlanta. The All-Star game assigned years out, so it's not like you can just say, well, we'll move it to LA next year and we'll push off the other ones. So LA will move back into the rotation, but not for a little while. 2-2 to Turner. Sliding effort not made by Joe McCarthy in right field, and Turner into second base, still hustling, up 6-1.
Shortstop, number 5.
Outfield playing really deep, and Justin Turner taking advantage of it, and he's loving it. Gets out of the box in a hurry, hustling there. Good attempt by McCarthy, but to no avail.
Eddie, mouth was open.
Legs just couldn't get there. I like the mouth open, though. It's a big lead for the game.
Oof, Seager, a hammer shot right up the middle, fielded cleanly, and a nice job to retire Seager. That was a shot right over the head of Menes, who thankfully ducked down.
Second baseman number 14, Kike.
Nothing wrong with that swing at all. Tira y tapate. Threw it, ducked, got out of the way and let his defense play for him.
Good play by Mauricio Dubon. 2 down. You get Austin Barnes catching tonight. Can't help but remember Yasmani Grandal with the Dodgers, and Grandal just part of one of those teams that has rebuilt itself. A lot of people like the White Sox, a lot of people like the Reds. With the expanded postseason, Fangraphs has come on out with the expectation of the playoff chances. The Dodgers are now 95%. Team like the New York Mets at 63%. Any surprise teams, Eddie, that you think may enter the playoff picture now that it's been expanded, or otherwise, even if it weren't?
There are 2 teams that come to mind, San Diego Padres being one of them, and the Texas Rangers in the American League being the other with their starting staff. Just gives that much of a chance to those 2 teams. And watch out with the Chicago White Sox. As young as they are, they're so talented. They'll be able to slug.
Hey, Ravi, I'm with Eddie on all those teams. They could all make a nice run, especially with the expanded playoffs. The Blue Jays have a really interesting young team, but we're not sure where the Blue Jays are going to play this year. So it's difficult to say, hey, count them in as a really decent playoff team when you're not sure if they're going to play all their games on the road or how they're going to do this, play in Baltimore or wherever. Very complicated situation.
Very complicated.
How about you, Carl? You have a team?
I think like most, I think the Reds, the White Sox, the Padres. Deep into the left field corner. Kike Hernandez. It's gone. Home run for Hernandez, and what a night for Kike. His 4th hit of the night and his first home run of the season.
Kike has yet to meet a lefty that he does not like. One of the big reasons why he's such a valuable asset to the Dodgers, and now given the opportunity to play against right-handed pitching, hanging curveball. He knew he barreled it. He knew he had the launch angle. Just needed to see in what row it would fall.
338 feet. All right, so on a team with Betts and Bellinger and Turner and Seager, who had Kike Hernandez as the MVP?
Who had the mustache as the MVP? It's looking better and better with every hit.
It sure is. This one is hit on a line, but it's caught out there by the left fielder. That'll do it, but Kike Hernandez, have a glass of water and have a night. 4 hits, including a homer. Dodgers rolling tonight, heading to the ninth. Baseball on ESPN presented by John Deere. Kike Hernandez leaves the yard. You can tweet using hashtag Bud Light Homers, hashtag sweepstakes. Tag your favorite team. That'll give you a chance to win a 2020 home run ball. Well, the Dodgers bullpen is strong, although they need to find out what Kenley Jansen is going to give them this year. This guy, baseball Groterol, throws it about 100. And if you recall, he was rumored to be involved in a trade with the Red Sox once, but they did the medicals on him, and they said they didn't want Brewstar. So he ends up with the Dodgers, and assuming he's healthy, this is a massively powerful arm. 92, and he gives up a hit to start.
Designated hitter number
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Dradic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Dradics.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
But in the Groterol, it is another example of Andrew Friedman in the front office. I'm guessing some would consider it a risk, but they looked at it as an opportunity. And there's an easy 98.
What's there not to like from an easy 98 or even 100? Sometimes you have to take a risk on arms like this, even though the medicals at one point for the Red Sox said no.
So, Eduardo, we're going to see some guys this year playing with masks on. How would you do that? How would you deal with playing with a mask on?
It's a great question, Tim. And again, we've seen some, Didi Gregorius being one that has been able to do it. And he will continue to do it because of his underlying condition. And you just have to find the one that works for you. And if it's to keep yourself safe, to keep your teammates safe, and to keep your family members also safe, then you just get used to it. Just like players have gotten used to wearing the protective face guard also. It's one of those situations where it's what the game is right now.
Groterol, double play. SportsCenter's coming up just as soon as we're done. John Butchergross and Michael Leaves post-game reaction from our game. Mookie Betts will join the telecast, as well as the Yankees' victory over the Nats. The latest on baseball's proposed postseason expansion. Highlights from the NBA scrimmage. Is that SportsCenter next right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Picture of the Robinson family. Wonderful. Cardboard cutouts, and this may do it. Ground ball fielded and fired over to first from Turner in the shift. And the Dodgers win it by a final score of 8-1. 11 opening day wins since 2008. The most in baseball. The Mariners have a chance to tie it tomorrow. Zoom, zoom, Timmy, you're all done.
I got a lot of work to do here, Ravi.
Oh, we all do, buddy. We all do. But it's great to have baseball back. For Tim Kirk and Eduardo Perez, producer Andy, I'm Carl Ravitch. Hope you've enjoyed it. Again, the Dodgers 8, the Giants 1. It's time for SportsCenter as Mookie and LA get off to a great start.